Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. I'll be your host for this. To the Bookmap webinar, and we're going to go through all markets as it says, and order flow analysis, really understanding what's going on within the order flow and also the micro structure or smaller structure of the market, but understand the transactions, order flow, which is the limit buy and sell orders, and understand the market structure. It is the context that we want to understand between these three elements. All right, so we do this webinar every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. So yeah, I lead this webinar. However, we have many other webinars, and let me show you how you can find those. So if you go to bookmap.com, and then you go to the More button here and click on Learning Center. This will take you to our Learning Center page. We have all sorts of courses and information, a market mechanics course, understanding how to use Bookmap, order flow phenomena, add-ons, etc. Scroll down a little bit more. These are all our Bookmap streamers, okay, all our traders here. So you should find something in here that works for you, that you like. And some are every day, some are weekly, some are different markets. They're all different trading styles, etc. You can scroll down a little bit further and you can find the calendar here. This is Monday, so this is the all markets here. Just earlier we had Pirate Traders, Charles, excellent volume profile trader. Right after my webinar here, we have Paco, if you speak Portuguese or in trade Brazilian futures. Same time, we also have Tom B, another volume profile trader. After that, we have Doug, options with Doug, looking at stocks in his proprietary way of trading. And then we round out the day with the Algo Boys. This is only in our Discord chat. All right, so anyway, we have a jam-packed schedule, as you can see, all week long, every day. So you should be able to find something that you like. All right, let's move on. You can contact me at Bruce at Bookmap on our Discord channel, or my Twitter at Flow Order. General disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, good morning, everybody. All right, let's jump over here. Let's take a look. Now, again, we can look at any market you like that we can connect to. We have stocks, futures, and cryptocurrencies. We always start off with the S&P, and a lot of times we just stay right there. A lot of people just want to look at that, and that's what's requested the most. And what's going on in here? Well, we've had some volatile days last week, and today you can see that, well, what has happened here? We have an overnight channel. You can see 8:30, 9:30 cash open. It broke the overnight channel here, accepted higher, created a channel up here. It broke that at the cash open. And where did it go? It reached the high liquidity that had been in here this whole time. Okay, there's some in here, here, and then up in these areas up in here around this most important area, around this 45, 25 to 26 area. Okay, and it did transact. Okay, we can see the result after that high liquidity has transacted. There is no more buyers, or not many more buyers. We find sellers hit the bid pretty hard. Okay, they go below the cash open swing here. We get a little bit of a pullback and another impulse move down to the breakout of the overnight structure here, as you can see. And now look at the buyers come right back in. We're all over the place this morning. You can see there's this, one move up, one move down. These are big swings too, nice big swings, over 10 points each. So if that's the case, well then this one looks like maybe it's kind of coming to an end just because of the swing length. That's it. Not because of the aggressors. We can see there's more buyers up here, but This is just, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about when you put your trading plan together. We mentioned this on Friday. You need multiple inputs. It's these multiple inputs that's going to make your trading higher probability. All right, so and these are they take two, start with one, add another one, and then add a third, and start with something like this. This is going to really make a difference. And don't worry about 10 or more than three inputs. Just these three, and get really good at that. And now you've got a pretty solid trading plan. Okay, so anyway, let's take a big step back here since it's Monday. Let's look at the bigger picture, and let me see if there's any questions that anyone has here. So trading for a living, usually trade ES and NQ. Do my best to learn Bookmap. Okay. Yeah, trading for a living, then I would really highly recommend that you go here from bookmap.com to that more button here, and then our learning center. That'll take you right here. This is where you can learn a lot about Bookmap. Okay, how to get connected first, and then getting started is how to learn how to use Bookmap, the features and components. And then we have a course here on market microstructure and order flow in general. So in fact, you can take a look at it here. It's this kind of information about like understanding price moves, understanding not only the best bid and offer and the aggressor, but understanding the order book and the order flow as well, and how that affects price. Okay, and this here, and this is about as binary as you can get about the market. Someone hitting the bid and moving price lower. In this case, taking liquidity off of the best bid, and that's where the transaction takes place. You start to understand these kinds of details in here. That can be extrapolated to much higher time frames, and we talk about this all the time. And then you might want to go into some of the order flow phenomena and the add-ons, and then come to these events and ask questions. Okay, that helps. PC memory, well, it depends on what kind of PC you have. You should be okay. You can go to the knowledge base and you can look up the specifications required. There are minimum, recommended, and then kind of higher performance. Does Bookmap have the price ladder? Oh, yeah. Well, you can see our price ladder over here, and we have a fully functional trading dome within the columns here. However, we also have an add-on that you can get when you subscribe to Bookmap Global Plus, and then that will give you access to the Dome Pro add-on here. All right, so let's enable it, and then it pops up here. Now, this is a high-end professional trading dome here. However, it is fully functional with all sorts of different execution in here. It is a separate window from Bookmap. You can see that this floats around. You have your price ladder, and you can start to understand bids, offers, inside markets, whatever it is that you want to look at. Dome. What I wanted to mention here about this was that if you want to line up the heat map with the dome, you can do so in the columns. You have to right click in here, and you can go to basically a trading dome here, and then we can add this in, just the default dome in the columns here. Okay, and you can see I had all my other columns are still in here, but I have this one. These are all new. This on down to last trade. All right, so anyway, and fully functional in here. You can move these around, and you can add in between, your volume columns and whatever you want in here. It's very flexible. I would recommend that you go to the add-ons in here, and then I think we have information here on the dome within Bookmap. All right, so you can check that out. Okay, and let me hide these columns now, and let's look at the higher time frame, and then we'll jump in here and see what's going on in Bookmap. Okay, back to where we were, and look at this. Look at this buying pressure. So still buying. Okay, so we did get a little bit of a pullback here, and here come the buyers. So back up to this liquidity up here, which is there's a lot of trading up here at this area, and we're still finding some buying interest here. Okay, I'm really curious about this move in here. If we're going to still see some buying activity, take it up to 27, and then on up into 30, in the low 30s up in here. I'm still kind of waiting for that bigger pullback, to be honest. Right, this has been some volatility back and forth here, and the market has really not figured out what it wants to do yet. All right, so anyway, let me go back over to Discord. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to left you over here. Good morning, Nick. If Bookmap works so well for trading, why do you guys have daily webinars highlighting your product, almost as if you guys are more salesmen than traders? Then don't come, Nick. No, this is about insights using Bookmap and to understand the how to use the platform. It can be kind of tricky. This is why, Nick. It can be kind of tricky, okay? Because most people don't look at the heat map. They don't understand the context of the heat map, which is the limit buy and sell orders. And then there's also the volume dots. The volume dots in here, this is pretty straightforward in my opinion, but others have never seen visualization like this. Okay, and what does this mean? Well, here we can read it right here. You can see these big green dots. These are market buy orders. You can see the pressure in here. We can see it waning up here. Okay, we can see we didn't make a higher high, and we don't see a whole lot of buying. There's some up here, not a whole lot, right? So maybe we'll find sellers come back down and retest some of these areas where the buyers came in, right? So that's putting context together. And we always have traders in here, Nick, that are new. So we're going to go over this and really get good at understanding order flow. And if you look at other charts, this is what you're going to be looking at most likely. You might be looking at some sort of bar data. And well, do you know where the volume took place? Do you know what the heat map looks like? Do you understand where the limit buy and sell orders are? Do you understand that context between them? And that's why we're here. Okay. And to really understand, like for example, let's just look at a simple candlestick right now. Actually, the candlestick chart looks kind of bullish, right? It closed up here. We see more buying pressure come back in here. So if that's the case, if you're a candlestick trader, this is what I'd be looking for. I got to turn these volume dots on really quickly here. I'm looking for buying pressure up here, and I'm looking for a breakout then. Okay? And I'm looking for a retest back up to here, 37, or I'm sorry, 27, maybe higher. Okay, now that's a candlestick pattern. What about the order flow? What about the volume dots? Are we seeing that? Okay, this is where you're going to get something out of looking at Bookmap here. Okay, so what is the conviction of traders? Well, now we're getting some buyers. Now they're starting to show. Okay, all right. Is there still more buying pressure in here? Do we see the bid up underneath here supporting this? Okay, demand underneath. Understanding the auction process here. Okay? That's how you can get so much more out of your candlestick chart. I would say, like, yeah, okay, well, we see there's buying pressure here, but it's pretty dark underneath here. Do you want to take that risk? Do you want to place your stop right below here and buy up here? I'm not too keen on that. I know that this is dark here, that there's not a lot of liquidity. I know that sellers can come in here and take it down to 22.5. Okay, so and hit this liquidity here. Right, so that is the edge in here. Right now, I'll be covering all markets in here. However, we have, like I showed earlier, volume profile traders, we have crypto traders, we have options traders, we have all sorts of different, we have stocks traders, we have Scott Pulcini, who looks at just stops and icebergs in that context in here. So where are you going to find stops and icebergs? That's going to be kind of hard to find. So we're going to cover it in here. It is the responsible thing to do for education. All right, so that should answer your question, I hope. Let's move on and get to this higher time frame. All right, we got to get into the webinar here. Actually, I need to leave a little early today, so we only have about 35 minutes. All right, so let's look at the daily over here. On the right, I'm sorry, on the left, the hourly here in the middle, and the 15-minute on the right. Now this is higher time frame, and what our plan is to understand the higher time frame zones in here, and just understanding basically just the market structure, because we don't really have too much else to look at in here. We're going to read the wicks and what this might mean and the size of the moves, etc., and maybe if it has some volume behind it. All right, so you can see that, well, this today is it's within yesterday's or Friday's activity here, as you can see, but that's a big day here. All right, so there's a lot of sloshing around in here that could take place. Let's zoom into the hourly then. And get some insight. So the hourly is actually pretty interesting if we look at it, because we've been looking at these gap fills in here. We noticed that gap fill last week in here, beautiful, and that's when we got the rebound. And you can see here we have another gap here, right here on the higher time frame. This goes back to April. Oh, I'm sorry, July 7th, somewhere around there. You can see the gap in here, or maybe it's the 8th or 9th. I can never quite tell here in these charts. Might be the 9th, but something like that. And you can see this big gap in here in the move to the upside. All right, so that would be down here. The gap fill would be around 44.74. Let's go there. Let's go see what's happening here with current price. 44.74 would be down here. That would be the gap fill here. Okay, right now we're just in the middle of the range in here. In fact, we gapped up, as we noted in Bookmap. 15-minute chart here on the right-hand side. We gapped up. We have the high here at 28 and the low here at 09 or 10, somewhere around there. So we can come back down into like 45.02 or so, and that would be the gap fill. All right. Okay, Nick. Well, I don't know if you like the answer or not, but that's why we're here. We're here to support. It's it's not about being a salesman whatsoever. It's about supporting. Truly, and that's what the education is here for. Showing value and supporting. All right, and building community around that value. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, we're coming up to this high here. Let's jump into Bookmap. I'm really interested to see if we can come back up into, I don't know, maybe 35 up here. There's a lot. Look at this. There's a lot of like empty space here from the move down. Okay, so this is bullish right now, but let's just see what happens here. All right, so this is where we left off, right? We left off with the candlestick pattern and reading the candlestick pattern with the order flow and the transactions, and we were looking for a bullish move. Okay, well, the bullish move has unfolded. 27 has transacted, and we're going higher. See if we can get back up into maybe 29. Now, I want to be careful here. Because the high here of the day is just been made here. Okay, so at 29. All right, so we're going to be kind of careful here. It's a strong move, no question. It's a stop run too. Okay, no question. Now we have that information, And let's just take a look at the order flow. So everything else looks pretty bullish in here. How about the order booked? We have that on our side here. And not a little bit. There's some demand underneath here. Okay, you can see this kind of bluish order book in here. That's not bad. The high liquidity is still up here. Only some of it transacted into 29. Okay, and there's still high liquidity here, 30, 31, etc. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see, MDHC. I answered your question there on the order book. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Excellent. You guys, I answered some of your questions in here. Okay. Andrew, you say just wanted to say discovering the heat map and watching the webinars has changed your approach to trading success for the better. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I'm just reading that out loud because no, I very much appreciate it. We're here though to try to provide more value and understand the heat map and understand the context here between the order flow and the transactions and the structure, right? So anyway, you can see what's kind of unfolding here, like interesting move. We're up at these kind of highs here, and then very few transactions here. I would still be bullish in here, and I see a little bit more up here. Still be bullish in here. We know though, as we said, like, yeah, there's some underneath here. They're supporting it here at 25, not up here at 28. And now we're down at 25. And now the order flow has shifted and changed here. And now they're bidding, or I'm sorry, they're offering down here. And then actually now they're starting to pull that offer. And are they bidding on the other side here? A little bit. Yeah, MDHC, you saw that Python, yeah, you can integrate Bookmap in, or we've integrated Python within Bookmap, so you can program within it. Yeah, there's an add-on. I can show you where that is in here, and you just go to the. If you don't see it in your add-ons, you can see it here. I've already added it, but if you don't, you can click on Add or Manage, and then you'll see it in there. All right, so you might want to play around with this, and that can answer some questions for you. Oh, thanks, Nick. Okay, just yeah, seriously, here to support you. I don't want to sell the product. I want to support it. I think it has tremendous value. I believe in it. I have since I first saw it day one, and I was a client, and I couldn't believe it. A friend of mine showed it to me. He goes, check this out, and I was like, no, they can do that. I was just amazed. It was like I had the dome was always so separated for me, and it was just kind of esoteric. Like, what are these numbers? And trying to understand the order flow within the dome, it was kind of challenging. And then for them to take it into a heat map form and plot it not only in the live market but on the historical market, so I have that context. That was an eye opener for me. And then. Yeah, there was someone who trained me about these markets and how they work, and really understand like the effects of the order book in here. And at that time, there were so many white papers out there. This was kind of like 2015 or so. There were so many white papers out there by all of these quants and wannabe quants that wanted to, have some sort of thesis and to show information and data so that they can work for the banks. Okay, and high frequency was, that was kind of at its peak, I think, around then. And Yeah, all of them, they talked about order book skew. Most of them, they were about how that affected price, right? So, I mean, paper after paper, and this is really, it was pretty high level stuff. But, just to understand, this is an auction. It's an auction process, and it just makes sense. Like there's people on the bid down here. Well, how many buyers are down here, right? This is demand in economic terms. And then this is supply up here. This is where they want to sell. In between, we're probably going to just see it slosh around in here. We're going to see buyers take it up to here, sellers take it down from there, etc. This is the context we want to put together. Okay, not just for the small time frame here, but the higher time frame too. Okay, so we'll take the candlestick chart off, which the candlestick chart, we'll bring it back on actually. We'll use that as a, maybe we'll kind of discover that a little bit today. But maybe we'll go over candlesticks in a little more in more detail. And that'll be our third context or another context to look at in here. Okay. So anyway, understanding this process in here is no different on higher time frames or lower time frames. I mean, you can see it here. Well, here's where the high liquidity is. Now, is there still more buyers? Well, there's still pretty high liquidity up here. Okay, so well, if we find sellers, then I'm looking for them to take it maybe down into some of these previous areas or way down here, maybe 44.95 or 96. I guess 95. And that's where we are in the auction on this time frame. Now that you weren't able to see that before, right? This is great. Right? You can see when they came in here around 8:45, they were kind of in here earlier pre-market, and then came in again at pre-market. They've been in here since, over 1,050 contracts down here. Okay, and how many transacted here? Let's take a look. Well, we had about, why is my SVP? It should be showing it. Hold on, I think I have it. Yeah, I'm sure I have it reset. Resets. Figure resets. That looks good. Okay. Yeah, so how much transacted over here? Well, about 400 looks like. Yeah, somewhere around there, and then 200 up here, something like that. Okay, and that's the high volume node right now. Okay, and it's due to this liquidity. Well, it certainly helps it, that's for sure. All right. So let's see now. Starting to find a little bit of selling coming in, and let's see if they try to take control and try to go down to the bottom of the swing here around to this liquidity here at 45.20. Right, so that's one scenario to take a look at here. Again, like we're going to use the same process here. The offer's up here 28. The bid is down here 22.5. That much we know. Okay, we don't see a skew right now too much in the book. There's a little bit coming in here lower, but it's no big deal. Therefore, if buyers want to try to attack this liquidity, it's easier for them to drive price up toward that area. Okay, so we're going to see though, we're going to see someone come in here and disrupt the auction right now, the current auction. And it's not prohibited practice. It's just that auction will change. It will shift and it will flow. And we will likely see something like this. Like you can see we have a kind of a trend here. Likely we're going to see something like this. Someone's going to come in and maybe offer here. And then maybe they'll pull on the bid down here. And that will be the skew that we're talking about. Okay, and maybe the new liquidity would come down here. So what does that mean? Well, if the market's always seeking balance, then it would probably come down to about this 22.5 if this liquidity did something like this, right? Because the middle would be here. right? So anyway, just some ideas to keep in mind. Let's clear our drawings here. And we kind of left off again on the higher time frame. Yeah, so we just kind of peaked above here, and you can see we have been sloshing around. Basically, price came back down and then came back up again, and we're back up here yet again on this 15-minute candle. All right, and we see more buyers still, even on this 15-minute candle here. Let me zoom in and let's just look at a little less bars here. Not that less. Okay, something like that. All right, so we can see this candle up here. So we're seeing a lot of green in here, right? On the hourly too. So there seems to be some buying pressure still here. All right, so let's go with that. We're looking for buyers and we're looking for the book to support it. They are pulling here. See them pulling at 29. Let's see if we can get more buyers and reach into this 30 and 31 liquidity. Okay, it's nice move here by the buy side. I just don't see the support underneath here. Maybe we'll just get a pullback and we have to come back up and get more buyers again. And we can also look at the size of the volume in here transacting. Okay, and look at it over here. So we're going to look at the relationship, relative volume in here. Okay, there's a lot more buying in here that took it up than this one up here. This is how you can start to look at even double tops in here. Or are we looking for a continuation? Right? So right now, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not as strong as this. We had to go back down below all of this buying in here. And now we're back up. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, so on the micro scale, let's just take a look at this. This is looking good here. See the skew in the book? See the buyers come in? All right, now be careful here. Be very careful because a lot of times we'll get this move and then the sellers hit this and they take it to the downside. Okay, but so far so good. Right now we have to get more buyers though. Okay, now we tested that liquidity at 27. Do we get our buyers? Not yet. Not yet. We got to see them up here around 28 or 27 3/4. There they are. There's a few. Now that's not much. That's not enough. We need to see a conviction here. Okay, in fact, the conviction looks more on the sell side here. Okay, we're really watching this little area here. It's about a point wide. All right, we got our buyers here. And not enough. What it's tricky to read in here, but this is what we've got here. We do have support still here at 27. And we have some sellers hitting into that. Now, there's a couple different scenarios we're going to look at. Now see more support coming in, but sellers are hitting it though. They want that liquidity. That's what's happening. There's the transactions. Okay, so yeah, we're not staying, like, unless we see buyers whip it away here very quickly, which might be the scenario, then we're going to see all these sellers got it wrong. We're looking for the squeeze up into 29. And beyond 30, 31. Okay, so now we're starting to get our buyers up here. There's some exhaustion here on the sell side. So I'm looking again, buyers here, looking for it. And let's see it here, buyers. Let's see them take on 28. See, look, it's not much to look at, to be honest. Yeah, the bias is, as you can see, it's unfolding. But like the bias is, and then you can even see a little more support here. So it looks good for hitting up into this 30 and 31. Now we've gotten to the high of the day again. Now we need a bit more buying to break it. Okay, so the I know it's a little hindsight in here, but you know, this is where it starts to look pretty good in here around this 28, 27 3/4, 28, because we had the exhaustion here. We also have another component to take a look at. This is important. Another component is this selling here. Okay, they're going to be the buyers up in here. Okay, we're going to see a stop run. There's a stop run already, a small one, just to the high of the day. And this is what happens all day long, is someone gets trapped, or many people get trapped, and they're compelled to buy or sell. Okay? And this is what fuels a lot of the moves. Okay? And then to see, like, if there's, like, you know, larger, higher time frame traders that are going to continue with that move to the upside, then we can see it, right? Well, we look for it. We look for them to come in. But we look for some of this fuel to burn and ignite, maybe be a catalyst for that move. Order book skew and imbalance is the same thing, basically AC. And we're looking on it on multiple time frames. Oh, I'm sorry, multiple price levels. Okay, so let's just take a look in here. You know, we're looking at, you know, like here's kind of like just for like a couple points in here, right? This is more kind of market making type of algo activity. You know, there's high liquidity here, 27, also 29 and a quarter, and you know, trading down here now. So we can look for a skew in here. We can lean against some of this liquidity in here as well. And you can see how we were looking actually for this scenario here to disrupt it earlier. And then where are they now on the bid? They should be down a little bit further. Okay, so we finally got that. That was a good look right here. I was looking for that earlier. So the next area is down to 25, most likely, just by the order book. Just by the order book. Most likely the move is to 25. That would be kind of a balanced area and is the point of control as well. Okay, because the other liquidity is still down here at 22 and a half. Right, so there's our book and balance, or balance, on the higher time frame in the order flow here, as well as on the lower time frame. Okay, our imbalance, actually, we saw it. We're just looking right at it. We had it here, and we had our imbalance here. Okay, and what was the reaction? We found sellers. Okay, this is key. Find the sellers. So that's why we're looking for 25. Okay, and it just came shy of it, and it's coming back up, but I'm still looking for 25. Okay, again, now this is not a trading room. This is reading the order flow and applying what we see in the order flow to where price might go. Okay, going through these scenarios is really important. And the more objective we can be reading the order flow in here and understanding what's going on by the participants' behavior, the more likely the move will unfold. Okay, so here's our move into 25, still looking for lower. Actually, let's get down to 24. Maybe this is enough here for reaching 22 and a half. All right, so yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a day kind of like this here. We had our fuel here. We had the buyers come in, and we were looking for the move back up into here. I still thought the buyers had enough fuel here for a move up into these areas in here, and it didn't. It turned around, and we found some sellers come in here. And again, we can see the order book in here. There's high liquidity coming in here. Let me just reset this. Looks good. High liquidity coming in here, and then we're looking at that little range in here, 29 and a quarter, and then 27. And then we had another skew here, followed by sellers. This is where we got a lot of insight. Okay, so that's when we were looking for 25 at that point. All right, let me see if there's any more questions here. AC, did that answer your question? The order book is, we can just go through as we usually do, normally do here, looking at these three elements here. Very, very simple data. It's just, we're looking at the price structure. Okay, you see it now. Well, we did this exercise the other day, so we've done it for years, in fact. Just take the volume off. Okay, we don't have volume now. We're not going to lean on that. We're going to read the order book in here. And what's happening in the order book. Okay, and then understanding how price action relates to the order book. Okay, well, right now you can see, like, they're on the bid down here. And we're kind of going back and forth. They just came up into, price just came up into this liquidity here, but they pulled. Now look at their underneath here a little bit, and we found some buyers. Okay. Now that was kind of short-lived. Or are they still in here? Yeah, they're still here at 25. Okay, but look at the offer as well. Now this blue area here, there's a skew in the order book on the offer now. This is a hard read. I mean, they're here on the offer. I would still look for the move down into 23 here, basically. But they're supporting it here as well at 24. So we're not getting a lot out of it at the moment. It kind of bigger picture would be the 22.5, basically. A lot of times it's just, I mean, this is the condition for today. So look at them support it here under 23 and 3/4, 23.5. On a bit of buying. There's a skew on the offer at 25. See that? All right. Let's see if the sellers can now hit into this liquidity down to our 22.5. Okay, we're seeing this offer here. And see how it's testing it. Now they're pulling. Now they're adding on the bid, right? So there's another change or skew in the book here on this low time frame. Right, so yeah, due to that skew right here, it kind of disrupts what we were looking at, and it shifted and changed. Now it's really up to the, this is why we turn on the volume dot, so we look for the aggressors to come back up to the top of the range here. Okay, after this skew here. Okay, pretty good. That's a nice little skew, AC. I hope that helps you. Thanks, Kenji. Really appreciate it, guys. If you like it, please hit the like button. Anyway, yeah, this back and forth in here. Now look at this. Now we have a context here. Okay, we have a swing up here. Now let's look at the order book again. Okay, prices has come up here to the top of the swing, and then what I wanted to say before this unfolded, I wanted to say it's looking kind of dark here, right? It's kind of dark in this area. So we can come down here into this liquidity, or maybe 23.5. And you can see it did test down to here, 24.25. Okay, this happens all the time. All right, so now let's see if we get it. Let's see if we, after testing up here and not accepting, it rejected, clearly rejected up here. We're back down to the bottom of the range. So now we're looking for a skew on the offer, them to pull on the bid, and then we're looking for our 22.5 and lower here. Yeah, maybe we can come down to 20. Okay. So anyway, guys, like, so you can see what we're, the exercise here is to understand the order flow, not the transactions. We have two uh, elements in here, and we're looking at the context between these two elements here. First one is the price action with streaming, best bid and offer. Okay, that's one element. The second element is just the heat map. Okay, so, and we're reading where price might go based on the changes in the flow here in the auction by limit buy and limit sell orders. Okay, and then we look for these moves. We go through the scenarios. What if, what if, what if, and then when we start to see that what if unfold, then we can start to look for where price might go. Right, and then that can help you with your trading plan. Okay, so let me jump back here, and Nick, what is your method for trading? So we can go over that and maybe put this context between these elements in here, or the order flow. Thank you, Techno Caesar. I really appreciate it. Really kind words. Thank you. When in heat map settings, contrast, large size, highlight, and brightness. Yeah, I would recommend that, I'll show you here. We kept the heat map settings in here. If you right click on the heat map, or you can come up into this studies configuration and then click on heat map. I usually just use the default here. I hit restore. What you're talking about is the some of the advanced settings in here. If you go to advanced color map settings in here, there's brightness and large size highlight. We put these together because it was based off of a very at this point a very old version of Bookmap, like version 4, I think, or 3, something like that. And it was for a black and white heat map, and people were having a hard time. We still have it. You can still use it here, the black and white. And the reason that we put these in here was because sometimes people really couldn't see the contrast in here between the and what we can do though is we can use these to kind of like filter here a little bit better, right? So that's the advanced heat map settings in here. I never use these. The only time I ever use these is to demo them, to be honest. Right, since we introduced I think it was around version 5 or something, 4 or 5, the color heat map in here, that kind of fixed it basically, because now we don't have to worry about a grayscale. We have color, and the color, a true heat map here, is it captures that data, that information. All right. Do you need level 2? Yes, you do, Ross. You need to have level 2 for this. Yeah, I think that answers your question. MDHC. Okay. Thanks, Luis, for the support there. In fact, I can give you the wrench tool. Luis is a Bookmap moderator. Oh, I think I gave it to Jack, and I think I can only give one. Oh no, add. Yeah, that. Okay. All right, guys. So here, this was after that big long discussion. We were looking for the move back down into 2250, and then we still looked for that continuation into 20, potentially. That has transacted, right? So, and it's the bottom of this range here. We're going to find some buyers or some profit taking, I imagine, at this point, and we are right now, and maybe some mean reversion traders as well that want to take it back up to about here. is 24 or 25, let's call it. And it's just a simple concept again in the auction market theory, that this is a price level here that is really not too supported. A lot of behavior by traders are saying, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not this up here. There's a lot more transactions up here. People seem to agree upon the price up here. Therefore, this is a discount. That's the theory behind it, right? And that's why you can look at, you just look at these. If you ever read your Dalton or Stadelmeyer or whatever, volume profile traders that kind of founded the process. It's just really simple, statistical bell-shaped curve in here, just understanding where price is accepting, rejecting. The problem that I know market profile deals with it, volume profile does not deal with it, is you cannot see in here when and where. You just see it all aggregated into a big blob. So because what we want to understand in Bookmap is we're looking for these big moves, and when that move might unfold. We don't, where it might go is something else, or where it might reject is something else. Okay, but we can look at the vertical movement. We don't want to look at the horizontal movement. We want to look at the vertical movement, and when that might unfold. Okay, and that's where we're going to look at the order flow, and we're going to look at the structure, the smaller time frame structure in here, and then we're going to look at the transactions as well. All right. Okay, so let's turn the transactions back on, and all right, we're going to look at that context now. If you're struggling with this in the heat map, because it, like I was saying earlier, a lot of traders they don't have access to. They've never seen this before, and now Bookmap's been around for like 10 years now, but still it might seem kind of foreign. We're really good at reading volume and price action, but now we have this other context in here, the other side of the trade, to really understand. Repeat. Let's see. My coach says colors make you want to trade more. I like it. Okay. Oh, is that something like all the fast food restaurants are all yellow and red in color? There's something about that is appetizing. Maybe, I don't know. Guys, I'm sorry. I see your people are putting their posting their images in Discord here. I won't be able to get to it until after. In fact, I've got to go. I've got a meeting here that I have to cut this webinar short. It's an important meeting. So usually we go for an hour and a half in here. I want to end up though with something important. So we're talking about context in here, and we took off the different layers of context in here, or different elements. So we can also take off the heat map, and now we can just look at context of volume and price structure. Now this is really good view of the market, in my opinion. You can really see the context in here. Buyers coming in, okay, sellers taking it down lower, but look at buyers coming in, and they're able to even trade up into and above this swing here. So this could be a potential reversal. Okay, now what are we looking down here for? This is what we're looking for. We're looking for buyers here, right here. Okay, and in fact, what we would love to see is sellers down here. Now this is actually something that, and there they are. So let's see if this is a false breakdown. Okay, we also have some icebergs underneath here. And now we're looking for, see if we can come back in here and get buyers and maybe trade back up to 25. Right? So we're looking at this context, and we're understanding not so much the auction, but the transactions. Okay, where are people stuck? Where are they likely to be buyers? Okay, here. Let's see if we can get this here. I'd love to see this in here. And we have reasons to believe that this might happen because we have this. We looked at price structure and volume within it. We saw buyers coming in, right? So it doesn't take too much to think this might be a false breakdown, and we look for buyers to come in and come back up to top of the range, or maybe back up to the point of control, right? Okay, we have our fuel here as well. This is another context to read and put into the put into your analysis. Okay, do you have fuel for this move here, right? And once we start to see that, then here's where you put your trading plan together. Do you get your buyers here? We did get our buyers here. Okay, so now we have fuel. We're at the bottom of range. We know that there's buyers up here already transacting and interested. So we're looking for the move to the top of the range. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it's like a maybe a 2.5 point move or so. The concept though is the same on all time frames. Okay, so I would, if I was in this, I would be taking some off up here, but I would also be holding some. Okay, because I'm still looking for a bigger move, and the reason being is we have this buying, we have this fuel. Okay, and I still see some buyers up here, so I'm looking for buyers now to try to lift it a little bit higher up into here. Okay, which I like. It kind of matches with that selling transaction up here. Okay, so a little bit of a pullback here. Okay, and my stop loss break even and plus some. So my stop loss would be up here somewhere. Okay, and if I get stopped out, that's fine. I took some off, top of the range. Anyway, this is what we're talking about in here. Is the context now of just volume in price action, right? We also read some stop losses here. Okay, so yeah, I got stopped out at break even +1 on the second leg of this. Took some off up here. I had my reasons though. It was my setup. This is how I acted, and I'm out of the trade now. Right? Now I would recommend, depending on what kind of trader you are. It's not a recommendation room, but it's something to consider, suggest. To look at these three elements, to put these pieces together, and then add one more. Maybe maybe it's candlesticks. Okay? Maybe it's your volume profile, right? And you start to put this together in it as well. So if these candlesticks were, if you're a candlestick trader, is this something that you would be looking for? Look how this closed up here. Now if the candlestick closes within the range in here, you're not looking for the breakout until you get back up above the swing. Okay, you can see that this did not get back up above the swing, and it has traded back down here. Right. So anyway, put another context into here is what I'm saying, and now you've got something that should give you higher probability. Right. So it's a suggestion. It's a starting point. For really getting into some of the details here that should allow you for a higher probability trading plan. Really optimize your trading. Okay? And the reason being is simply just because you can see the other participants much clearer in here. All right. Thanks, guys. Really nice comments today. I really appreciate it. So I've got to go. I'm already late. They're going to be mad. So. Take care, everybody. Let's see. We have Paco, Tom B, Doug, and Algo Boys later today. So stay tuned for some good stuff a little bit later. Okay. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Take care.